and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. So I'm so sorry if I look sweaty. It is so freaking hot in here today. I don't know why. Like, I've been trying to let all the air in, but because there's workers outside, I can't have the windows open when I film because it's so noisy. So I'm just gonna be a sweaty mess, but it's fine. And also my hay fever's been playing up, so I probably sound like I'm full of a cold, but yeah, it's my hay fever, the perks of summer in the UK, woo woo. So today is Spiritual Book Club for June, and I'm super excited to bring you some books that I've been reading and also what I've been reading from last month's Spiritual Book Club. So let's get started, no time to waste. So one of the books which I was one of the books I intended to read over the last month was Gabrielle Bernstein's Miracles Now, and I did read a lot of this actually. I'm 75% of the way through now. I read this on holiday and I actually really loved it because although it's like very basic law of attraction and very basic spirituality, it was actually really nice to just refresh your memory, learn about miracles more in depth, and just a great reminder of the basics. So highly recommend this book if you want to recap yourself about the basics, or you just want, you know, some kind of standard law of attraction to help you go into your law of attraction journey. But a great book. I definitely would have benefited from reading this a couple of years ago, but it didn't come into my life until now. But yeah, a great reminder of the basics of law of attraction, and just a really good book. And it's really easy to read as well because it's got 108 sort of like mini chapters, so you can kind of do like a practice a day, if that makes sense. So it's a bit like Kyle Gray's book. You can do a practice a day, and yeah, really great book. Now, the Trust Your Vibes book and Ask Your Guides book by Sonia Coquette. I did take them with me on holiday, but when I went to read them, I didn't actually vibe it that much. I just couldn't get into them for some reason, so I've put them down because I trust that that's my sign that I'm not ready to read it yet. And I actually took Kyle Gray's Work Your Light with me. Now I'm having to put a picture here because I don't actually know where the book is right now. So I randomly took this on my holiday with me as a last minute book to read, as it's been sat on my shelf for a couple of months now since it launched last year, and I absolutely loved this book. It was all about, you know, working with your light, working with, you know, spirituality to develop your connection even more. It had spirit guides in there. It had some great tips and tools that Kyle puts in there to develop your spiritual practices, raise your vibrations again. And I really loved this book. There was so much in there about love and self-love, and also Course in Miracles as well, which showed me once again that I have to read this book. So I absolutely recommend Kyle Gray's book. Absolutely love it. Was absolute delight to read, and I loved reading it in the Maldives. There was no better place than the Maldives to read that. And also another book I have been reading over the last month. So I know I set out the intention to read A Course in Miracles and just do it as like, you know, I'm gonna read it when I feel like it kind of task. But the more I read it, the more I was like, oh my god, I just can't vibe with, I vibe with what they're saying, but I think because the language it's written in is very like Shakespearean and very kind of biblical, and while I can read that and accept that and totally can relate it to my own beliefs, it was kind of a bit too hard. And this is why they say A Course in Miracles is the most purchased book but read by few, because you've just got to get it. So I really still wanted to read this. I was like, I'm still dedicated to reading this. I know I'm ready to read this and to learn all the tips and techniques and teach it, but I just really struggled learning the language and understanding the kind of lessons behind the language, essentially. So I purchased a book called A Course in Miracles Made Easy. And this is a Hay House book, and I kid you not, this book is freaking fantastic. This book has changed my life again. So I really love this book. Is so relatable. This book is so easy to read, and you learn the core values and principles of A Course in Miracles, but in a way which is absolutely relatable. So I feel this book is so needed in this world because, you know, if you can vibe A Course in Miracles and you get it, that is fantastic. But for me, it was just hard reading and it was just hard going, and I couldn't fully appreciate the beauty of the book and the beauty behind the meanings and kind of the teachings because I just couldn't read it. I couldn't understand what the message was. So this book is freaking fantastic. The author is such a relatable guy. I love all of his stories, and I've absolutely changed my life within his book. I'm so glad I bought it, and I bought it on Kindle because it was literally like £1.49 or something. Like, it was so good, so cheap, and it will now give me the tools to be able to reflect back on A Course in Miracles, because like it teaches you, so they actually put the lessons in there but in a really relatable style, so you can learn it from a relatable way. And now at least I can go back to A Course in Miracles and, you know, take that information I've learned from his book into this book and be like, right, now I get it, like now I understand what they're saying. So highly recommend it if you yourself have picked up A Course in Miracles and thought, fuck, like I'm not getting this. It is such a great book, and yeah, it's super affordable as well. So those are the books that I have been reading throughout May/June, and these are the books that I am planning to read throughout June/July. So I'm gonna finish off A Course in Miracles Made Easy. I think I'm about 60% through, I think, so I'm definitely gonna continue reading it, because every chapter I'm like finding a new version of myself. I'm like, oh my god, that makes sense. And like also with that book I've been learning about like illusion and fear, and oh, it's just so good. I can't explain it to you. Like, you just need to read this. So I'm going to continue finishing off that book. And also I felt like I hadn't really read that much this month until I actually sat down and did this video, and I was like, oh, I've read like, you know, partly 4 books basically. But I think it's because I've been writing my book so much this month. I'm reading that back and thinking, oh, I've read loads of books, when actually I'm just reading my own book. So that's another book I've read this month. Highly recommend it. It's great. It'll be out hopefully in a couple of years time. So yeah, like that's why I was like, I don't feel like I've read much, but I really have. I honestly have. So that aside, I'm going to finish off A Course in Miracles Made Easy, and then this book, basically I saw a really good blog post by Gabrielle Bernstein about 6 books that changed her life, and I was like, holla, I want to see these. So the first one was called The Disappearance of the Universe. Now some of the titles didn't really relate to me in her list, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure, and you know, A Course in Miracles was in there, so I had it anyway. But The Disappearance of the Universe is kind of like your next step. So A Course in Miracles is very much, I'd say, like a level 3 spirituality. So you've got like your Secret is level 1. I would probably say your Kyle Gray's and your all your kind of spiritual books are level 2. Then I'd say A Course in Miracles is like a level 3, and then this I would say like and the next one is like a level 4. So I don't know whether you can really categorize levels in spirituality, but that's how I see it in my mind. So A Course in Miracles, like I say, if you're going to read it, you have to be ready to read it. So don't just give up if you read it and think, what the feck is this? Like, just trust that at some point, like I did with those 2 other books, just trust at some point it will make sense and you'll pick it up and think, oh, this is the right time to read it. So yeah, The Disappearance of the Universe is basically straight talk about illusions, past lives, religion, sex, politics, and the miracles of forgiveness. So this works from the principles of A Course in Miracles, but it kind of takes it to next gen. It's kind of like the next gen stuff. So this really intrigued me because from Gabrielle's review, it looked really, really good. It's quite a hefty book, so I feel like this could be like a 2-month, 3-month job, but I am super excited for this. But I'm definitely going to read it after A Course in Miracles Made Easy, so I don't know how much I'm going to get through in the next month personally. And then another book off her list was A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. So Marianne Williamson is has been Gabby's mentor, and like I hear her mention her all the time, and like so many people have mentioned her books to me, and I've just never kind of come across one where I'm like, oh yes, I want to read that. So when this came up on the list, again, it's from the principles of A Course in Miracles. This is like your next level stuff. I loved this, and I love how there's loads of books coming out with people's interpretations of A Course in Miracles, because like I said, it makes it so much more relatable. And you know, times change. A Course in Miracles was written in the 70s, I believe. I hope that's right. I think it's the 70s or 80s. One of those decades. So, you know, like time has progressed a lot since then, and obviously now like my generation and like, you know, all of us, like we perceive and take in information differently. So, you know, text and copy does need to be updated and does need to become related. So, you know, that's what I tried to do in my work. I tried to take, you know, law of attraction and spirituality and bring it into like, you know, my generation and our age. So yeah, I love how there's a lot of books out there which kind of take the principles and help you develop on that. And, you know, any book about love and self-love love is a winner in my eyes, of course, so I'm super excited to read this, and I feel like especially this one's going to be a really beneficial book for me. So there you have it. There are the books that I'm hopefully going to be reading over the next month. We've had some good weather here in the UK, so plenty of time to be reading books, which is super lucky, and obviously I need to finish my own book as well. So I hope you've enjoyed June's Spiritual Book Club. As always, let me know what you're reading in the comments below, because I love to get your recommendations, and obviously like so many of you recommend books to me and I feature them on here. So please let me know what you're reading, if you've read any of the books that I've mentioned, how you've got on with them, and of course you can obviously read these books as well in your own time. So thank you so much guys for watching my video. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because we'd love to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comments box down below, because I replied to them all, and I will see you in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love guys.